why is it?
Let's just play again the clip of him talking about whether he should be nice or not, because it's kind of relevant to this, about whether he feels he ought to change. Let's take a look.
You know, I was supposed to be nice. They say something happened to me when I got shot. I became nice. And when you're dealing with these people, they're very dangerous people. When you're dealing with them, you can't be too nice. You really can't be. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
So, Elizabeth, does he want to change? I mean, he was almost mocking the idea that people were saying, oh, he's going to be going through a life-changing thing and blah, blah, blah. I've got to say, I spoke to him on Saturday. He didn't sound like he changed much to me. I've known him nearly 20 years. But, of course, he would argue that part of his appeal, why he's so popular again, when everyone thought he was dead and buried a year and a half ago, the reason he's back surging away in the polls, and in fact has never had a higher popularity number than he has today, is because he is authentic. He's true to himself. He is a bit of a badass. He does speak from, shoot from the hip when he talks, and he says a lot of stuff which, shocks people, makes people laugh. He's not the conventional politician. Is it actually politically wise for him to try and change and suddenly be Mr. Nice Guy, maybe holding babies and, cuddling cats?
I don't think we'll ever see him cuddling a cat. But I mean, look, the multiple things can be true at once. He could, like Michael said, realize he's talking to a woman at this debate and realize that he might have to change his strategy a little bit, but also realize that, like you said, he is a badass and that's why people love him. Everything that has been mentioned about him in these last 5 minutes was true. A couple of weeks ago, I know Joe Biden was then the candidate, but like you said, Donald Trump was polling at record numbers for him, the best he'd ever been doing politically since he first announced in 2015. So clearly it does work for him. I don't think I would want to change if I was, coming back after I don't even know how many times people said that he was, dead and gone and his career was over in politics. So I understand people that say that he should change. I understand people that say he should not change. I think the only person that can make the proper decision here is Donald Trump. He has a very good political instinct, which is why he's still around and why he's the Republican nominee right now, despite, like you said, countless people thinking he would not be. I think for us, it's about strategy, like you said, policy, policy, policy. And for him, it's about realizing that there is maybe a middle ground, but that the badass that is Donald Trump is the reason that Donald Trump is here right now. And I agree with you. He will never lose that part of him, and he will certainly never cuddle a cat.
No, I don't think he will. Now, Wajahat, we've done a bit of research while we've been on air, because you were very clear that people on the left had not said Kamala was the border czar and are now trying to wriggle off the hook. So we've got a little mashup which Newsbusters had prepared for the delectation of the world. Let's take a look.
Border czar. Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People are going to have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. She was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
Now, Wajahat, would you like to review your emphatic denial that ever happened?
Last time I checked, I don't think I talked about the border czar. I don't think you showed a single clip of President Biden calling her a border czar. I don't think you showed a single clip of Kamala Harris calling her a border czar.
You said it was only Axios. You said only Axios.
No, yesterday.
There we have every major network in America saying one thing and they're trying to deny it. They all called her the border czar. And the reason they all want to try and deny it now is because they realize it's incredibly damaging to Kamala Harris if it is seen by the American people that she was indeed in charge of sorting out the border problem and presided over a complete disaster. So it's actually a critical thing here. And I'm bemused why the media is trying to pretend they didn't say what they said. All of them.
Well, two things real quick. When you were talking about that one publication yesterday that flip-flopped, I gave you the name, it's Axios that flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And the media, like you said, which is not trusted by either... Wait. The media that is not trusted by either the liberals or Republicans said a lot of stuff, and they're the ones calling her the border czar, but Joe Biden never did. Kamala Harris never did. She was not the border czar. She had a responsibility to talk to these countries, specifically Central American countries, to see if they can engage in policy to reduce the flow of migrants. But facts matter. Right now, the lowest crossing of migrants, even lower than Trump.
Hang on, Wajahat. Hang on. Facts do matter. So, Michael, can you, for the benefit of Wajahat, who clearly wasn't listening to you earlier, can you repeat what Joe Biden said about Kamala Harris in relation to her job?
I'll add in another line, too, which I excluded earlier. Wajahat, you just said that Biden never made her the border czar or put her in charge of the border. Quote, March 24th, 2021, I've asked her, the VP today, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle, and the countries that help are going to need help in stemming the movement of many folks, stemming the migration to our southern border. It's not her full responsibility and job, but she's leading the effort. When she speaks for me. He imbues her with presidential authority, and then he turns to her, Madam Vice President, thank you. I gave you a tough job. Wajahat, what about that is confusing?
Okay.
I can understand English. I was an English major.
Throw your hands up and admit you were wrong.
No, I know that you guys are doing the RNC's work for them. I know you're trying to help Trump, who is struggling right now.
Facts matter, you said.
No,
facts matter.
You said you all are saying that she's the border czar, and I have ears, and I heard that, and she is not the border czar. She literally was given that responsibility. She's not the border czar. And if you want to play on immigration, I will gladly play on immigration. Please explain to me why Donald Trump called up Republicans and told them to tank what would have been the strictest bipartisan immigration bill, in which he said would help President Biden, and Republicans bent the knee. So instead of helping security,
I don't mind you playing whataboutery, but actually it has been Joe Biden's presidency.
I'm not. Let's just have facts.
I'm happy to
when
give
it
you
comes
an
to
answer.
facts, Wajahat, you're on slightly slippery ground today, I have to say. I want to change subject now, and I want to move to